Good day, YouTubers. Thanks for joining me. This is part 60 in my series of videos on Ontario Northland models and HO scale. And what we're talking about today is a relatively recent release of some SD40-2s by Broadway Limited. And here's what the packaging looked like. Paragon 4 with Rolling Thunder, synchronized full spectrum sounds you can feel. So this is my first Broadway Limited model. So I will be curious as to how they run and how they look and how they compare to some of the other SD40 models that have been available, mainly those from Bowser. And here's the box end from Unit 1734. They did two road numbers, 1733 and 1734. And the box is basically a sleeve with a nice plastic clamshell to protect the locomotive within. So Units 1733 and 1734 are prototypically accurate for having this paint scheme on the Ontario Northland. This is a more current repaint for both of these locomotives. Now, a detail of this paint scheme that's more accurate to Unit 1734 only are the stripes in the nose. So 1734 was painted with those blue stripes, as were some of the other GP38s and other such recent repeats. 1733 is one of the earlier repaints to this paint scheme, and as can be seen here from this Bowser example, it did not have those blue stripes painted on the nose. So in regards to paint, that's where 1733 falls a bit short. Now, comparing these two locomotives in a little more detail, so we've got the Broadway Limited unit in the foreground and the Bowser unit in the background. So as you can see, in regards to the front half of the locomotive anyway, they seem generally comparable in regards to many of their details and aspects. Taking a look at pictures, areas that it looks like where Bowser got it right, where Broadway Limited isn't quite accurate, is with the plumbing configuration along the roof and with the horns being located towards the mid-body, while the Broadway Limited unit has the horns mounted on the cab. It's on the details at the front of the cab, though, where you see the most striking difference between these units. So 1733 is accurate in having its headlight on the nose, having the bell between the number boards. So when 1733 was repainted, it actually had its class lights here above the number boards plated over. So you don't see that on the unit anymore. Unit 1734, you can still see where the class lights were. It's like they were plated over inside of the housing, as opposed to the housing having been completely removed. So now taking a look at the Broadway Limited unit. So we've got the headlights between the number boards, which is not accurate, and we've got oversized number boards with no class lights. So yes, it's accurate that this unit no longer has class lights, but the number boards are obviously too large, and you don't have the spacing correct for the configuration above the cab windows. The other area where there's a difference that really stands out is the brake wheel. So Bowser has it accurate, with the brake wheel being on the short hood, and Broadway Limited does not have a brake wheel at that location. The other difference that you can see between the units is a little bit of variance in regards to the general appearance of the radiator grills at the back of the unit. The Broadway Limited unit looks a little bit thicker and chunkier. The Bowser unit showing a little bit more of the fine mesh detail. The other variants that you see are on the back of the units. So in the Bowser unit, you can see here how the headlights are stacked above each other, right down the center line of the nose, as well as the configuration of some of the rest of the unit at the back there. You've got that box off to the left Not sure exactly what that is. I wish I knew, but I don't. If you take a look at the Broadway Limited unit, it's not as prototypically accurate in the fact that it's got the headlights adjacent to each other in a horizontal manner, and you don't have any of the that detail infrastructure in the back. And just to show you from another angle here, so what I was talking about in regards to those roof differences, you see how you've got the antenna configuration and the horns on the Bowser unit that are somewhat prototypically accurate, and you have you don't have those same details in the correct place on the Broadway Limited unit. So I have unit 1733 on the tracks now, but unfortunately I did not have an easy time with getting either of these units running. Not too sure what was going on glitch-wise, but both of them seemed to be doing the same sort of thing. When I dropped them on the tracks, they were just totally unresponsive. I troubleshooted my system. I'm running just a basic NCE power cab. I dropped another locomotive on the tracks, in this case my Bowser unit, and it ran fine. I ended up trying a factory reset after pulling the shell off, and not sure what was going on, but that did seem to resolve the glitch. These units, they really advertise their sound, volume and depth of sound, and the speakers in the unit are impressive in scale. To show you the chassis here for the unit that I still have the shell off, you can see the size of the speaker that's been mounted in the frame, and they're nice and heavy units. So I'm in a small space, and the first thing I always try and do is turn down the volume. In this case, it's a CV133, and I dropped it all the way from factory settings of 128 to 20. And the reoccurring glitch that I seem to get when I'm doing that is, for whatever reason, after you've made the change with the CV, the locomotive will be unresponsive. It seems the little workaround that I've found is if you take it off the tracks and let it sit off the tracks for 10 or 15 seconds and then put it back on the tracks, you seem to be fine again. I'm guessing maybe it has something to do with residual power in the capacitor and that needing to be cleared, but I don't know what I'm talking about here. This is just me trying to guess as to why I've had performance issues with these locomotives, or at least getting them running. So now that I've got unit 1733 running, we'll start her up, which is sequence F9. So this locomotive doesn't have any break-in time, so I'll forgive the fact that she's a hair jumpy off the line right now, but I know from experience with nearly every other locomotive that I've had that resolves itself with some use. But it seems to have a really nice steady crawl, so in regards to motor and mechanics, everything seems great. I'm just a little not sure what's going on in regards to the glitches that I was experiencing. So changing her from reverse to forward direction right now, you can see that as you change that status, the headlights brighten up. So she seems to be a nice runner once she's on the rails. So I'll hit F9 here to power her down again. So I think in summary, I'd say, there's nothing wrong with these, assuming you get around the same operating glitches that I've experienced here at first. Once they're on the rails and running, they're fine for you, but maybe it's the fact that I'm using an older NC power cab, I don't know. But they seem to be nice smooth runners once they're going. I think if I had to pick a favorite, though, it would be the Bowser unit. I've never had any performance glitches or issues with that. It's just as easy to change settings and such through NC Power Cab without any drama. And in regards to actual detail, it seems like the Bowser unit is the unit that stands out in front. So, thank you for your time today. I'll look to have another video up sometime soon. Thank you.